Standing high above the Russian city of Volgograd, overlooking the Volga River, is the Mamayev Kurgan, originally an ancient Tatar burial mound. Perched atop this hill is a colossal memorial complex commemorating the Battle of Stalingrad. As the highest point in the city of Stalingrad, Mamayev Kurgan was an important strategic position during the battle, and so, for the attacking German Sixth Army, it was an important objective. In mid-September 1942, the hill was taken by German forces, but quickly retaken by the Soviet 13th Guards Rifle Division. The position continued to be fought over for the remainder of the battle, until defending Soviet forces were relieved by reinforcements the following February. As a center of fighting during one of the bloodiest battles in human history, the hill was the scene of a vicious carnage which scarred the landscape for decades to come. According to locals, the hill was littered with bone fragments and frozen blood after the battle, and the ground was so scarred from munitions that grass would not grow there for almost 2 decades. On this site was constructed a monumental complex, which both memorializes the fallen from this epic battle and commemorates the Soviet struggle against fascism as a whole. The centerpiece of the memorial is a modern colossus, Rodina mat zovyot, the Motherland is Calling. Completed in 1967, this is the tallest statue in all of Europe. The statue itself is a piece of socialist realism meant to display the ideal values of Soviet socialism in a realistic physical form. It's an allegorical representation of the Russian motherland as she calls upon all Soviet comrades to repel the fascist invaders. Her stance, which evokes the impression of fluid motion, is believed to be inspired by the ancient statue of Nika, the Greek goddess of victory. Her sword is held high, as if in preparation to strike at the enemy. The sword was replaced in 1972 to increase the structural stability of the statue. The sword itself constitutes a thematic thread woven through a triptych of 3 statues, of which Rodina mat zovyot is one. The 3 works of art are an allegorical telling of how the USSR repelled the Nazi invasion. First, in the rear front memorial, the sword was forged by an industrial worker and wielded by a soldier in Magnitogorsk, the so-called Magnetic Mountain, a major industrial city of Trans-Ural Russia. Then it is raised by the motherland, as she calls all her sons and daughters to repel the fascist threat at Stalingrad, the critical turning point of the war. Finally, the sword is plunged into the heart of the beast in Berlin and lowered to the ground by the Treptower Park Memorial. This final statue, erected in the German capital, memorializes Soviet soldiers who lost their lives in the Battle of Berlin. It has become controversial among some Germans, especially among right-wing groups who resented Soviet control of East Germany. The Motherland statue in Volgograd, however, is not very controversial. Representing the struggle of all Soviet citizens against the existential threat of Nazi invasion, it embodies patriotism and national struggle for survival. In the shadow of this great colossus are a number of other memorials which all form the complex atop Mamayev Kurgan. There's a smaller statue of a warrior hero wielding a machine gun and grenade along the path up the hill. Near the top stands the Hall of Glory, which houses the eternal flame lit by Brezhnev during the opening ceremony. Also near the top stands the recently constructed Church of All Saints, which was completed in 2005. The Russian Orthodox Church seems out of place in the complex, which was originally constructed in commemoration of an atheistic socialist struggle. It is emblematic of the pivot by the post-Soviet Russian government away from materialistic atheism as a means of uniting the people and towards the support of traditional religiosity. However, the construction of the church was relatively uncontroversial, so it is apparent that the seeming contrast between the socialist realism of the Motherland statue and Orthodox Christianity did not materialize into political controversy. Mamayev Kurgan is a site of remembrance, which, according to some, is contrasted with a site of memory. A site of remembrance is a, quote, specific space where people have already performed some activities of remembrance, unquote. Unlike a site of memory, which exists because any previous social group memory is gone, a site of remembrance is a place of human activities which are, quote, linked to human fates, emotional experiences, and recollections, which are projected through monuments, unquote. Every May 9th, Victory Day, ceremonies are conducted at Mamayev Kurgan by both veterans and non-veterans. They include the laying of flowers at the Eternal Flame, and official marches by government representatives and political parties. Another site of remembrance, and another memorial to the Battle of Stalingrad, exists in Limburg, Germany. This memorial actually commemorates German veterans of Stalingrad. Since 1964, these veterans gather at the Stalingrad Rock for remembrance of the battle and their fallen comrades. The existence of such a memorial is itself controversial, as it is seen by many to be in poor taste to memorialize the soldiers of Nazi Germany. The Rodina Motsovyot is a modern-day colossus. It inspires a profound sense of awe, both at the enormity of the statue itself and at the ideals of patriotic unity and national struggle which it represents.